Greetings, greetings, greetings. Welcome to Tanesia's Locks, Beauty Tips and Potpourri. I hope that you are feeling strong, that you're feeling inspired, that you're in your passion, and that your point of attraction is empowering and that it is positive. Welcome to the I Am Melanin MAGIC channel. Okay, Tanesia's Locks, Beauty Tips and Potpourri. And we are talking about a topic that is just one of those topics that as you go through this small lock journey, whether it's Sisterlocks, whether it's Microlocks, whether it is any other type of small lock, it's important to reflect on the benefits of this most beautiful journey. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. If you are able to search my channel, I think probably within the first several months, way back when I started this channel, I did a video on the 50 benefits of having Sisterlocks at that time. And post 15 years, so much has happened. So much has happened. So much has transpired. And I've learned so much as well. The journey has been enriched by a multitude of different experiences. But I still want to share today the benefit of having small locks. Whether you've had your locks for the longest length of time or you are someone who is on the fence about whether or not the locked life is for you, I am just here to help kind of push you over the fence to usher you into the locked nation, the locked family. Let me cut some light on. Hold on a second. As much as I struggle to do this, I'm going to do my best to keep this video as absolutely short as I can and to the point. So let's go ahead and dive in. Let's dive in. And by the way, happy holidays. If you're on the preface or the pre-weekend fun or you're in the thick of it whenever you see the video. And also don't forget to give it a thumbs up, like, share, and leave something in the comment if there's something that you have to say that you'd love for me to hear. The first thing that I always will say with this journey is that it is a journey that allows you to have carefree hair days. Days, every day you wake up. I don't care what's going on in your life. I don't care what went on the night before. Each day you wake up with ease. You wake up beautiful. You wake up looking fly and fine. Okay, and you wake up feeling good because your locks, your tresses are not something that you have to worry about. It is a get up and go hairstyle. Notwithstanding the maintenance and the things that you have to do to keep your hair healthy, because it is also an at-risk hairstyle. You will hear me say that time and time again if you watch previous videos on my channel. But it is carefree. Whenever I meet people, and even out here in the boondocks where I live, I see people all the time who ask me about my locks, okay? And maybe they have just gotten locks. And one of the things I'll always say, one of the things that we agree on no matter where they are in their journey, is that it's a decision that you'll never regret. The caveat is it's the decision that you should never have to regret. Now, if you don't maintain your hair, if you don't pay attention to what's going on and you just go and sit in somebody's chair and you allow them to wreak either havoc on your head or you allow them to exercise their sole autonomy over your hair and you don't listen to what you know your hair needs, you're going to have some issues. Definitely not going to sugarcoat that. But this hairstyle can last you for a long time if you know what the warning signs of problematic things that may creep up actually are. Now, welcome to Tanesia's Locks, Beauty Tips and Potpourri, the channel where we get it all in. You can also learn more about the I Am Melanin MAGIC brand. Thank you for stopping by. Notwithstanding some of those things, I have loved this journey. And for the foreseeable future, I definitely know that I'm going to cut my locks. You guys know I had knotted locks for a little bit of time. Definitely, needed to have done a little bit more research. So I will be backtracking, and you notice I'm trimming my locks. But I'm still on the fence with some things about how best to remediate my hair at this time. And I'm trying a multitude of different things. But I will tell you that having locks is something that I will never regret. My daughter, as you know, has the thicker traditional locks, which are something that I never actually thought of, which is something that I could do at this point. I could even go natural at this point and do an afro, simply because having had locks allowed me to embrace things that I couldn't embrace before. And that's the second thing. It will strengthen your identity. It will help you stand more in your truth and in your identity as an individual of the African diaspora. Okay, you all know these social and contextual drama and stuff, the historical and social drama and story and narratives behind Black women or women of the African diaspora and our hair. And so as you embrace more of who you are, not only are you a witness to your own glory through these most beautiful coiled strands, you become stronger. So this journey is something that changes you from the inside out. And that is why the last 100 pages and plus of this particular journal deal with the spiritual transformation that happens when you embark upon this particular journey. And by the way, you can get this on Amazon. I am probably going to put this on sale for the summer months in about a week or so, if not less than that. It is on my website for a little bit cheaper. If you want to order it there, you can still get the cards with it if you order it from my website. If you order it from Amazon, you cannot. But this journey is a journey that you should not be in without chronicling this journey. And this allows you to do everything that you need to do, whether it's tracking your retightenings, your reknottings, your interlockings, whether it's tracking your loctician, whether it is writing down notes and tips, whether it is exploring your lockversaries, keeping a portfolio of pictures and photographs, noting what is going on with your hair as you begin to go through different aspects of the journey. The Lock Journey, a guided journal tracker, and a planner, chronicles of hair growth. That's what you want to get. So that second piece about your identity, that second piece about really being present for the transformation that takes place. Just because you change the way you look, you would be amazed. It is not just about the hair, okay? The third thing that I want to talk about today is the fact that because the locks are so small, okay? And I consider mine kind of medium, to be honest with you. I typically always wanted smaller locks, but as I got further on my journey, especially in the more recent couple of years, I could have had thicker locks. I probably would love to have thicker locks now, but I love the locks because they're so small. And that was one of the reasons why my daughter, when she got her locks, even though I marveled over her locks, and she can do all sorts of things with her locks, but they're still more dense, they're still more thick, they're still more voluminous. And so for me, I like the idea of being able to do just about anything I want to do. You know what I'm saying? Where's my rubber band? I like the idea of being able to do any style that I want to do. I like the idea of being able to go in any particular direction that I want to go in with my hair. I like the idea of being able to curl my locks. I like the idea of being able to use different roller sets if that's something that I decide. If I want to put it up, if I want to, when I go riding on my bike, which I can't do with the helmet on, but when I go to the track, when I ride on my bike, I'll put the bun up at the top and put the helmet on. But a style as simple as this is something that we can do. When I get into the tub, I mean, I can manipulate my hair fairly easily without causing a lot of stress. So the ability for your hair to be adaptable, especially if you like a lot of different hairstyles and things, that's a reason to consider this. The fourth thing being, you can take this style into any workplace. It's very professional looking. I remember a time where having locks of any type could be problematic. And although there's still some spaces where that is actually something that people are still in court battles around and still filing grievances around, this is a style that from afar, it can actually look like you don't even have locks in your hair at all. That's the interesting thing, especially for people who have very thin locks and who keep them curled. It can be very difficult to decipher what they actually have going on in their hair. So The next thing I want to talk about, number 5, is your hair is really easy to care for. If you are someone that has had trouble with your hair, I don't suggest that you go into this having not built capacity with your hair and having not strengthened it. I don't feel that it is a solution for hair that is already in trouble, but I do, and I often support, and you will hear me say that it's a very short road to getting your hair to where it needs to be, to where you can comfortably wear locks and trust that this particular style is a somewhat protective style. If you are doing the certain things that you need to do with your hair, it is a protective style. Now, it can be a style that can be destructive for some people under certain conditions, but barring those sort of things that some people don't pay attention to, it's a protective style. It can allow your hair to rest. It's like, you know, when we used to get the relaxers way back in the day, and when it came time to relax the hair, we had to take certain precautions so that we didn't re-chemicalize or retreat the hair that had already undergone a lot of trauma. This is hair that is new growth that is coming out when it's time to get a retightening. And so as long as you're tender in that process and you don't unnecessarily traumatize your hair, it's a really easy to maintain style that can allow your hair to rest. That brings me to my next point, number 6, which is that for me and for you, I like to say, even though the costs are rising, and they have risen tremendously since I had my install, I paid $750, and it was because it was starting at $450, and I paid an additional $50 for each inch, I believe. And I think at the time I had maybe 8 inches or something like that. You know, of course, it might have been here, but then it shrunk up quite a bit. But I want to say I paid a total of $750. Now today, I know that installs are running sometimes in the thousands. And in this channel, on this channel, over the years, I've talked about the fact that it is worth it. It is worth it. Today, I would still pay $2,000 to get Sisterlocks in my hair. If I was doing a reinstall today, I would probably do them myself. Okay, and that's quite honest. I would probably do them myself. If I needed some help with this section of my head or with this section, I could pay somebody about an hour to do that, but I could definitely install them on my own. But I would pay a couple of $1,000s. And I would pay potentially a little more depending on my personal circumstances and what the reasons were for me desiring Sisterlocks so much. And the reason why I say that is because if you can find an individual who is invested in your hair and not just your wallet, if you can find an individual that you trust, that you get along with, an individual that has a track record, an individual that has integrity, which is not very difficult to find, because when something protects someone's bottom line, they tend to sometimes do things that can be dishonest, and that can happen, and that has happened to many people that I know. But if you can find an individual that is trustworthy, that is willing to be transparent, someone that has a good track record, someone whose hair looks like they know what they're talking about, and their hair doesn't look like the aftermath or the after trauma of whatever it is that they may be doing to their hair. I used to always say, you know, we can get advice from a lot of people who may be giving advice about things, and it's not an absolute statement, but you usually will fare better with someone who is a walking, living, breathing instrument of the things that they want to involve you in, okay, for lack of better words. So it is something that to me is worth it. It is cheaper than the repeated cost of wigs and weaves and other protective styles that can begin to add up. Now, what is adding up today in this particular style, of course, are the retightenings. If you have to travel, that's an additional expense. If you have a loctician that is charging you for other things like repairs or maybe washing, styling, then it does add up, which is why I will always support you possibly considering doing more for yourself and being more self-sufficient, which takes me to the next item on the list, which is you can do them yourself. If you start with twists, if you start with interlocking, if you start with, I mean, there's so many ways, 2-strand twists, plaits, there's so many ways to start locks. And when they mature, like A lock is a lock is a lock. If it looks like a lock, if it acts like a lock, if we call it a lock, if it quacks like a lock, it's a lock. You'll be amazed at how taking small steps towards maintaining your own hair can really allow you to take a quantum leap forward, not just in your confidence, but in your ability to maintain your hair should you have situations and circumstances that come up that require you to not, or that require you to take a more active role in your hair and not have to depend on someone else. You start with a few areas at a time. This is a style, and it's going into the next number. This is a style that allows you to be very flexible in terms of experimenting with your hair. That's one of the reasons why I like this style. I'm of the mindset, I'm not in a box. And so for me, within the first 2 retightenings, I was doing different things to my locks. And I was figuring out what this whole pattern was. And if I saw things I didn't like, I would go in and unravel my locks. I did little things like that in the beginning because I'm just not a conformist anyway. And I like to discover. And I also don't like to be dependent on anyone for something that is as important as the way that I look, which impacts the way that I feel. So at least I needed to discover for myself what are, you know, some of the things that I can do to maintain my own hair in the meantime, okay, if I need to. Or like a lot of people will have noticed during COVID, they had challenges. A lot of people had a lot of challenges during COVID, and a lot of people couldn't get to their locticians. And for the ones that could, some of the locticians couldn't get to them. Some of the locticians were not able to assist them and comply with some of the appointments and many other things. And so for you, this is a style that is easy to learn how to do your own. I mean, I got to really get in my head and do a retightening. You can see how much new growth I have, and I'm careful about that at this point. But one of the things that I'll say is that you inch in, you take it off in bite-sized pieces, and you give yourself permission to try out different things on your hair. You don't just abdicate your responsibility. The other thing that makes this a wonderful hairstyle is that because it's so flexible, you can still swim, you can still work out, you can decide what maintenance routine works best for you and learn to listen to your hair, and you will find that there's so much more that you're able to do that perhaps you didn't think you were able to do. Okay, and that brings me to the next point. When we talk about you responding to your hair, locks will require you, and it will, again, part of the spiritual transformation that happens, it requires you to sit with yourself, to be more patient, to be more accepting of yourself, and to establish a better level of communication with your hair. If you've been someone who typically just remained detached from your hair and you just went through the motions, the beauty of locks is that it transforms you, like I said, from the inside out, and you become someone that sits with your hair, that checks on your hair. You can know every lock the way a teacher would know a student in the classroom. You can know what is going on intimately with every lock. It draws you inward, and it makes you sit and pay attention to yourself and to pay attention to your hair, which is a real boost to, and the next thing I'm going to talk about, which will be the last thing, is your feminine energy. It is a beautiful, flowing, very healing and nurturing hairstyle, which allows you to be in your feminine, in the sense of being carefree, in the sense of having a worry-free style that you know is always going to be working for you. You're not necessarily having to, depending upon how you maintain and what your particular regimen is and what kind of loctician you have, you're not going to have the same concerns that you would if you were having to do a roller set each night, if you were doing regular perms, if you were having to buy a whole lot of products, if you were having to go to the salon on a weekly basis to get your hair washed and all of those things. There are ways to maintain your locks and to still have them be healthy and also be able to be in a state of flow. And that's a beautiful thing. And one more thing, and then I'm going to stop. I think that puts me at number 10 or number 11, and that is they're ideal for a busy life. I have a busy, wonderful life. And one of the things that makes my life easier, or one of the things that enriches my life, is the ability to get up and go and know that my hair always looks good, even on days when I don't feel good, because I'm one of those people that believes the inner and the outer are intimately connected. And how I look outside reflects how I look inside, but it also reflects how I feel on the inside, and the level of self-care and the level of, quite frankly, dignity that I have and the way that I carry myself. And so I've always been that way, and this style makes it very easy. And so I make sure that I just do certain things every day because that's just who I am. Whether I'm working from home, which is what you all know that I do, I work from home. And so still, I get up every day. I want to feel good every day. I want to look good every day. I join the world of the living and the world of excitement each and every day, and it makes me feel good. And so this style makes it easy to do. But at the same time, like I just came back from doing a 15, 16 mile ride. I did 2 the other day. If I was dealing with a different type of hairstyle, it wouldn't have been that easy at all. And so it's this style that makes it easy, and I would not turn back for anything in the world. I want to pull a card for you from my feminine energy deck, which the decks, all of them, I just finished the narcissistic abuse recovery deck and journal. I'm getting all the decks up on Amazon. I also just finished the Red Flags and Toxic Relationships deck, journal. There are 2 journals, there's decks, and there are coloring books for those of you who are adults and like to color. You will be able to get these things from Throne 69, which is my website, as soon as I can update the website. But you will also be able to get them on Amazon. It's taken me some time to get everything up, to have a store, and to do all of that. So I'm hoping over the next few months. But I do want to pull a card for you all. For those of you who are interested in the Sacred Initiation into Conscious Love and the 7 Spiritual Love Languages, which is the course that is starting on the 21st of this month. It is a 4-month summer of transformation. It involves direct, face-to-face, coaching with me, 90-minute coaching sessions. As a part of your participation in the portal, we go in. The class is 5 pillars. I will put a link to it in the description. You can go to the portal and take a look at the outline and see the massive value. It not only comes with my book, it comes with the journal and a deck to help you get really cozy with conscious love, to help you get really cozy with rewriting your love story, whether you are in a relationship currently or whether you are trying to attract that relationship into your life that you know the divine God has been getting you ready for. It's a class that's going to help you get there and help you to break the toxic cycles that may have kept you feeling relationally undernourished, okay? So I'll put it in the description as well as putting it in the pinned comments. Here's our message. Divine patience and releasing the armor, okay? In love, in life, in something that you might be dealing with, you may have felt guarded. You may not have been able to trust. You may have had trouble opening up. This could be your story even if you're in a relationship. Okay, let's say you're in a relationship and you're feeling a bit guarded. Maybe there's some tension. Maybe you're not getting what it is that you feel you need from your partner. Whatever the story may be, this is calling you to surrender. It's calling you to open up to the flow and to unblock something that currently could actually be blocked in your life. Divine patience is about allowing the divine decree to unfold in your life. Don't get connected to and tapped into time and how long something is taking. Always remember that time is a man-made construct. It really is. Time, I mean, that's why someone who's burning their hand has a longer sense of time than maybe someone who's on vacation. Time is very subjective. Yes, they put us on this Gregorian calendar. Yes, they give us these 30-day months and they do these other things to try to keep us disconnected from natural rhythms and cycles. But there is no time. You know what time there is? The present. the here and the now, okay? So this is where we are. You're being asked to put your guard down, to release the armor. This is something that you can trust. You don't have to block it, okay? But it is something that you need to surrender to. So you're with Tanisha Ali here of I Am Melanin Magic brand. You can go to the IamMelaninMagic.com website. The website has been transformed. I hope that your shopping experience is more pleasant and that you're able to find things. You can also find some of our products on Amazon. And as well, we are doing free shipping all summer. So even with everything that is going on, I have constantly done my best to provide the best shopping experience while still giving you value for the products that have made a difference in your life. You can also, again, get this journal. I will be seeing you again soon. Have a beautiful rest of your day.